What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another video. It's the first month of December, which is one thing, 1 week until my birthday arrives. That's gonna be hype. You know what it's time for? Donkey Kong December! Even though every month is Donkey Kong December. I'm gonna try to make as many DK videos as I can, because I barely had Donkey Kong in any of my thumbnails for over a month. Since that September Direct, that sure was something at least. But yeah, last time we talked about the original Donkey Kong Country, all 5 of the Donkey Kong Country games that we all know and love, I hope. Even though it didn't really do the best, but I guess it's not much to talk about right now. But anyway, today, did you know about the Donkey Kong games on the portable consoles? Yes. Today we're going to be talking about the Donkey Kong Land Trilogy, and the Donkey Kong Country Trilogy on the GBA. I bet most of y'all probably know the Land games, but some of y'all probably don't know the GBA games exist, at least. I don't know. We're going to talk through the Land Trilogy first, and then the GBA Trilogy. Is there any major difference between them? There actually is. Let's talk about them. Alright, so we're going to be taking a look at the Donkey Kong Land Trilogy. Now, not to break this up into 3 different video parts, I guess, because they all play... I don't think I need to explain the controls. Donkey Kong Land games are actually very different compared to the actual SNES Country games. Yes, there are actual different levels in these. The bosses are also pretty interesting. They're more a bit on the east side, probably due to the limitations of the Game Boy, but... other than that, the Donkey Kong Land Trilogy is actually pretty solid. The first Donkey Kong Land game, of course, you play as Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong with their own abilities. There are a bunch of coins to collect and also a bunch of secrets to find, just like you do in the original Country game. And also, although it doesn't look, obviously it's the Game Boy, it's not going to look nearly as nice as the SNES titles, but it's still a nice game to play. You still have the same usual stuff like using ammo buddies. The controls is pretty much Donkey Kong Country, but on Game Boy, of course. So all the stuff is there. So I don't have much to say about the original Country game. There's also the bonus levels are also a little bit different too. So there is a lot of major differences compared to the Donkey Kong Country games on the SNES. As for Donkey Kong Land, oh yeah, I guess we'll talk about and obviously the final boss being, all of them are King K. Rool, obviously, the same way you really fight them. So yeah. And they do majorly be a little different, but the concept of them is pretty much very similar. So, yeah. Alright, now with Donkey Kong Land 2, obviously y'all know me if you watch my Donkey Kong Country video. Donkey Kong Country 2 is my favorite Donkey Kong game. Well, surprise, surprise, Donkey Kong Land 2 is my favorite of the Donkey Kong Land trilogy. I mean, I love what more do I need to say? The whole pirate-themed levels is just reason why I love this game so much. The difficulty is just handled perfectly, and overall, it's just a nice game. The music is very good, although I think all the Donkey Kong Land games have great music. Even if it's for a Game Boy, the music is good, so yeah. So yeah, not much to say about Donkey Kong Land 2, of course. You get to play as Dixie Kong with her flying ability and stuff like that. Not much to really say, because I've already explained most of the same stuff in the Country games, so don't need to say much there. And with Donkey Kong Land 3, much like Country, this is probably my one I don't really play often, or probably my least favorite of the Land Trilogy, but it's still a solid entry with, of course, Dixie Kong teaming up with Kitty Kong in this one. So yeah, definitely a very, very, very good game. The Donkey Kong Land Trilogy are definitely overlooked, honestly. And if you really love the Country games, you should definitely give these games a go. I definitely recommend them. Oh yeah, besides Donkey Kong game, there was a Donkey Kong game on the actual original Donkey Kong. Not that one. We all know about that one. I made a video talking about the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games. I should definitely do a solo video on this game because it's so good. But not now. But yeah, there was a Donkey Kong original game like that. But also there was Donkey Kong Country on the Game Boy Color. Yeah. Did y'all know that exists? Yeah, I bet y'all didn't. There's not much I can really say due to the controls due to the Game Boy, and overall a bit trickier to master compared to Country. Oh my god, the game is pretty difficult, but otherwise, it's fine. Not my preferred way to play Donkey Kong Country, but it's nice. The only thing I can say is the end screen. interesting end screen there, I will say. So yeah, that's the Donkey Kong Land on the game, Donkey Kong Land Trilogy, and the Donkey Kong Country game on the Game Boy Color. So yeah, now let's talk about the Donkey Kong Country games on the GBA. Alright, now we got the Donkey Kong Country games on the GBA. Now, of course, we all know Mario vs. Donkey Kong on the GBA and onwards, of course. That's nice and all, but I bet people forgot these games happen, which don't really get talked about often, honestly. And I did play these games early in 2021. And I gotta say that I really enjoyed them, honestly. I wouldn't say they're my preferred way to play Donkey Kong Country. I prefer playing them on the SNES. Maybe I'm just more into the console stuff than the handheld, but maybe that's just me. But Donkey Kong Country on a GBA isn't a bad choice at all. Is there really a major difference between them? Well, somewhat. The original Donkey Kong Country, there really isn't too much differences between it. With the original game, you have basically the sprites. Definitely the sprites look nice. You have sound effects too. The Kongs make noises this time. Well, okay, they did in the original Country, but they make like voice clips from Donkey Kong 64. Specifically Donkey Kong himself. The voice clips from Donkey Kong 64. The music is still just as good. The bosses are still handled pretty well. There is a little major difference between them, but otherwise, yeah, it's just Donkey Kong Country. Definitely a great GBA game. Not the one I probably experienced the original Country on, but it's solid. Alright, and after that, we have Donkey Kong Country 2 on the GBA. There's not much I can say with this one either. Basically, it's Donkey Kong Country 2. Yeah, that's more I need to say. Yeah, it's definitely a pretty nice one, and obviously Donkey Kong Country 2 being my favorite Donkey Kong game, this is very nice to play. I just wouldn't play it as much as the SNES game. I don't know, I just prefer playing the SNES game, in my opinion. Well, first, let's talk about Donkey Kong Country 3 on the GBA. Nothing much to say there. Both of these games have different bosses, by the way, which is very or new bosses, I should say, which is very interesting. So I guess that's one plus I can say with the GBA Donkey Kong Country games. Not the first one, unfortunately, didn't have them. I will say the map do look different. The map looking a little bit different and stuff. They definitely have a lot of polish with them, but I don't know. I just more or less go play these SNES games. Maybe it's because I play them way too many times at this point to not really care about these, but these aren't bad choices at all. Definitely give them a go if you really want them more Donkey Kong action. See which one you prefer, honestly. So, yeah. And these games have also never been re-released at all. I don't know if it's due to IDAL's licensing issues, but I would love to see these come back, honestly. But I guess because we already got the SNES Donkey Kong Country games and they're more popular, it's pretty unlikely if we're ever going to see these re-released, honestly. But, hey, at least we got to talk about them for a bit because Nintendo probably doesn't care, but I do. So yeah, I wanted to talk about these for a bit, and yeah, they're pretty solid, honestly. Donkey Kong on portable is real weird, I should say. Sometimes it handles pretty well, sometimes it doesn't. I guess DK does not work like that, but if there's a new Donkey Kong game on the horizon, if it's amazing, we'll finally have a real Donkey Kong game on portable consoles. So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. How you guys feel about these games? Let me know in the comments below. The start of Donkey Kong December begins. Don't worry, I will not have only Donkey Kong videos this entire month. But it's going to be mostly DK. But yeah. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time for more. Later, folks.